This is Leonard the Bad Boy Garcia. Get your martial arts news at Martial Arts 411 Magazine.
Hey, fight fans, this is Dean Lauder with Martial Arts 411 Magazine. We have the pleasure of speaking with Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez is the current Bellator fighting champion, lightweight champion. Eddie, thanks for being on the call with us this morning.
It's good to be here.
Well, it's good to have you, Eddie. I know you got a busy schedule. We're going to talk a little bit about where you came from and how you ended up becoming the Bellator lightweight champion. Just looking over your biography, it says you were raised in Kingston, Philadelphia. Man, that's a tough neighborhood. Tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in Philly.
Well, Kensington, when I was a child, was actually a good neighborhood. People took care of their properties and everything like that. It was just very Irish, and it was known for fighting, known for boxing primarily. There was a lot of boxing gyms within a small vicinity, a small area. So if you weren't fighting, you were basically an outcast as a kid, because fighting and boxing were, I explained to people, that was our hockey and stickball, you know. Instead of going knocking on your friend's door, ask him if he wants to play some stickball or play some hockey, you knock on his door with a pair of boxing gloves, 2 sets, and you say, hey, you wanna spar or wanna fight a little bit, and he would say yay or nay, and then you guys would go in the street and box or fight. You know, that was our sport.
Just like football's big out in the Midwest, boxing's big in Philly, there's no doubt about it. Eddie, we talk to a lot of the regional fighters here in the area. You know, I work with a lot of the guys that are coming up through the ranks, trying to prove themselves, trying to make a name for themselves. I know you've done just that. You know, you've done it successfully. You started out with MFC, then you started working your way up through the ranks. And then tell us a little bit about the journey. You know, maybe give a little advice for the up-and-coming fighters that we deal with here in the area. What good advice do you have for them, you know, when they are going through those smaller regional events, paying their dues, you know, to be able to get all the way up to a spot where, you know, like you, having a championship belt in one of the top fighting organizations in the country right now?
I think for anybody up and coming, the best advice I can give an up and coming guy is to be responsible and be accountable. The more I do this sport, the more I realize that a lot of guys don't care as much as I do, and I believe that's why I win a lot of my fights. I'm very responsible, very accountable, and very self-motivated. People just aren't responsible to get up on their own free will and to go to a practice and do 2 practices a day or 3 practices a day without someone babysitting them and slapping them on the hand. This is a sport where you have to be very self-motivated and get up and when no one's watching you, and do a lot of things when no one's slapping your hand. So if that's not your characteristic and that's not embedded in you already, then you should probably, you know, work a regular job. Also, never neglect promoting yourself, because you are only worth what you can give. And growing up in the smaller promotions, when I was coming up, I realized that early, that I was only worth what I can give to the promoter. And if I couldn't bring people to my fights and couldn't get people to show up at the fights, then I wasn't worth anything as a fighter. I was just another fighter. So maybe them 2 things would be key points I could give to someone who's up and coming who wants to try to make it in the sport.
Well, I tell you, that's great advice. You know, you've again, looking at your career, you know, you've definitely been able to do that very successfully. You started out with mixed fighting championships. You ended up becoming the Bodog welterweight champ. You started fighting in Dream, which is a huge organization in Japan. A lot of the more knowledgeable fans are familiar with Dream. Some of the novice types are not familiar with Dream. It's a huge organization over there. And then you worked your way into Bellator, and then now here you are at the top of the pile as the Bellator lightweight champion. So guys that are listening to the call today, make sure that you're taking notes, because Eddie definitely knows a little bit about coming up through the ranks. Eddie, your last fight I show was it Pat Curran? Was the last fight?
Yeah, Pat Curran.
That fight went the distance, all 5 rounds. Defended your Bellator lightweight champion. Looks like the next fight you got coming up is Michael Chandler. When is that fight going to be, and where is that going to be?
Crossing my fingers and hoping end of August. At the latest, September. I really want to be more active, and anybody listening, you we all know it's no secret that I haven't been fighting that much, and I really want to focus on fighting more. It's really beyond my control. So guys listening, don't blame me. I want to see myself fight just as much as you guys do. I just gotta be patient and take what I'm given.
Well, you're an explosive fighter, and we definitely look forward to seeing more fights from you. The guy that you're fighting coming up doesn't have a ton of fights under his belt. He's 8-0, looks like 3 wins by knockout, 3 wins by submission, 2 went to decision. Pretty well-rounded. Looks like you do anything special to train for him, or are you just business as usual?
It's business as usual. I fought guys with his style. Plenty of guys with his style in the past. I actually I do really well against guys like this who are primarily wrestling based. I know how to I have a clear idea of how to fight these guys and how to negate their strengths and expose their weaknesses, and I've been working on it for years because my style in the beginning of my career, if anybody follows me, was always sprawl and brawl. I didn't want to go to the ground. I always wanted to stand up and punch, and so I developed the style and learned very early in my career how to fight guys like this. I'm gonna show my fans and show the people how to shut a guy like this down and how to finish him up.
Well, excellent. Eddie, we cover a lot of the MMA events. I'm sure you're aware. Strikeforce was bought out by Zuffa Entertainment, so they pretty much are absorbing a lot of the competition. Bellator now stands as the biggest organization outside of that Zuffa Entertainment empire. Where do you see Bellator going in the future? Do you think they're going to fall victim to an absorption through Zuffa? Do you think they're going to continue to do their own thing? Bring in big name fighters like yourself and some other guys that are fighting over in Bellator now definitely has to give them an edge. And being that Strikeforce was just bought out, you guys are kind of the only ones out there doing anything on that caliber. What do you think the future holds for Bellator? I know it's only speculation. I know you can't speak for them, but in your mind, what do you think that is going to be up in the pipeline for Bellator?
Well, I mean, when I look at a company like that, I don't look at their idea or their format or what they're doing to say, oh, they're going to be successful. I look at the people behind it. How successful are they, and their ability to make something successful? And it seems like Bjorn has he has his stuff together, and he's did his research and he's did his due diligence, and he's basically learning from past experience of other people have made failures, such as Elite XC, Bodog, and these other companies who were in the game for a short period of time and failed. He's learned from them, and he learned that nothing comes fast, and that you have to put your time in, and you gotta study and do your due diligence in order to be successful. And he's been doing that. I can see it when I speak to him. I see he's passionate about it. That's a huge key to success. He's passionate about what he's doing, and he loves it. He wakes up early, he goes to bed late. I have faith in the Bellator brand. I would have never signed with them if I didn't. And it seems like they're making all the right moves, and they're making them little by little. They're not, it would make me nervous if, one day something drastic happened on a positive note, because anything too good too fast is no good,
Well, it's good. They seem to be taking a calculated approach to it, and like you said, bringing on some of the bigger names like yourself, some of the other guys that they're bringing, and being that the only alternative to the Zuffa empire, I think is definitely going to carry some weight and bring a lot of momentum going into the future. So we look forward to watching more fights from you. Eddie, tell us a little bit about your sponsor, Shosin. That's how we originally got in touch with you guys, through the Shosin clothing line. Everybody over there, John Hiscock, all those guys seem really nice. Tell us how you got involved with the Shosin clothing line, what that's been like.
Well, I started a retail store here in Philadelphia, and they were in contact with some friends of mine, and they stopped in. They explained to me that they're local guys, and that they started a brand, and just like Bjorn, they seem very passionate about what they're doing. They've been doing it for the past 3-4 years, and they also have done their research. They have a big company. The clothing itself was something different, something that you don't see normally in the MMA world. It's always, it just seems too watered down. This seems something that was, had some legitimacy to it, it looked like, a legit T-shirt and clothing brand. So we held it in the store, and people responded to it very well. People love the Chosen brand, and they love the product that they have to offer, and just sort of grow a rapport with John, and he helped us through the Karen fight on a last-minute notice, might I add, and we've been talking to them ever since, and trying to help each other in any way we can.
Well, that says a lot about them, having a sponsor to be there when you need it. I've had the opportunity to speak with John. He's a great guy. The clothing line, like you said, you really nailed it on the head when you said it's not the typical MMA gear. It's not just the skull and crossbones trying to be like everybody else. They definitely have a unique brand, and, looks good.
Eddie's brother is up and coming, too, so just, you watch out for him, because he's on the rise as well.
Eddie, what's your brother's name?
Albert Alvarez. He's actually 3-0 now, and a fight or two ago, he scored an 8-second knockout. So it's in the blood. Nice. He's got seriously heavy hands. We just gotta refine them, sharpen that sword a little bit, and he's gonna come out nice.
Well, I can imagine if he grew up with you, if you guys were knocking on neighbors' doors with the gloves in hand, I'm sure that if the friends didn't come out and play, you guys probably threw the gloves on yourselves and got in the backyard and got after it.
Yeah, our household it was a bunch of boys roughing it up.
Well, that's good training ground, man. That's good training ground. Where's Albert fighting at? What league is he fighting for?
He's fighting for Matrix and Locked in the Cage, just basically jumping around. He's a pretty hot prospect here in Philadelphia because of his last name, of course. So
right.
Every promoter within the tri-state area wants him to fight on their card. So it's really just a matter of choosing a promotion that's going to basically fulfill his needs the best, and bring a sense of legitimacy to the sport,
Right. Picking the right fight for him is also important, especially early in your career. You want to make sure you're picking the right fights for the guys.
Right. Yeah, no, right. Absolutely. He went out on a limb last fight. He fought a guy with, a lot more fights than he has, and he realized that, what a fight is about, and it was good to see him deal with some adversity in a fight rather than just run through someone. It gave me a chance to see, his insides, his guts, and he pulled through and came out with the victory. So I was proud of him.
No, you're absolutely right. It's a very telling situation when you get in there with somebody that's got a little more experience on you. It kind of shows you where your weaknesses are, where you need to improve on, and gives you an idea of really what you got yourself into. So, like you said, could have been a costly error, but he came out victorious. So, picking the fights definitely makes a big difference. Eddie, if somebody wants to get more information from you, wants to find out what you got up and coming in the pipeline, some more of your fights, maybe hear some things from Chosen, give us some website addresses so our fans can reach out to you.
It's very easy. It's my last name, Alvarez, MMA. If you're a fan of mine and you're in MMA, my last name is Alvarez, alvarezmma.com. And you can hit me up on Facebook or Twitter or whatnot. But you can also go to redcornermma.com, which is my retail store. It's not just Eddie Alvarez T-shirts and things of that sort. We carry all the major brands for clothing, gear, apparel, everything like that. So if you guys are gonna buy gear, buy clothing, head to redcornermma.com.
If you have any questions about the shirts or anything like that, too, the contact down there is Josh at redcorner.com, and he's really, really good to work with. He's a great guy.
Yep, my main man, Josh. He's down there 24/7 taking care of things.
Well, if anybody wants to pick up that fight shirt that you're wearing in the cage, can they get that from the Chosen website?
They absolutely can. They can get it from Chosen website, and we also carry it at the Red Corner. So wherever they want to go, they can pick it up.
Get it at the Red Corner so Eddie can make some money.
Go to redcornermma.com to get that fight shirt. Eddie, hey, Thanks for taking out your time and speaking with the MA 411 fans today. We really appreciate it. It was great talking to you, and we look forward to seeing more from you in the ring.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.